Welcome back. This time we're talking about the season 1 finale of The Good Place. I originally reviewed the first 3 episodes of the series. They all aired during the first week of the new season. I really enjoyed the show, and it's been one of the few new ones that I've followed all the way through. And I was planning on doing a full season sort of recap / review, and then I saw the finale, and I knew I had to talk about it. So before we get any further, let me say this is going to have major spoilers for this episode and the entire season. If you have not seen the finale entitled Michael's Gambit, stop watching now. I implore you to not watch this because there's some developments in this episode that you don't want to know until they're revealed in this episode. Okay, consider that your spoiler warning. From here on out, no complaints. We are in a spoiler zone. So as I said, I was planning on doing sort of a full season discussion of the show. And then I watched the final 2 episodes. They were both aired last week, back to back, and everything was going along perfectly fine. And then the big reveal happens, and it turns out that the good place, where our characters have been this entire time, is actually the bad place, constructed by evil architect Michael. Yes, he's evil, to torment Eleanor, Chidi, Tahani, and Jason. Everyone else that we've seen, including real Eleanor, have been actors. And those 4 were specifically chosen to torture each other. And the reveal was handled perfectly because we get a handful of flashbacks during the first part of the episode showing Michael getting his first neighborhood, his first chance to prove himself. And we see him diligently working on in that just kind of happy-go-lucky Michael way of his. So after the reveal, and we get to see him talking to his evil cohorts about how he's come up with the perfect plan to torture 4 souls. I mean, it's a gut punch, but in a humorous and funny way, but still a gut punch. And I love that it's Eleanor who actually figured it out. It's just something that I never once saw coming. Of all the ways I thought this show could grow and change, and they've done a good job of pushing forward the storyline in a lot faster pace than I thought they ever would. And now it makes sense because they always had this in their back pocket to pull out at the end of the season and go, hey, see that rug underneath you? Pull. But that also brings me to the thing I did not like about this season, or I don't like it, but I'm withholding judgment. And that was the complete reset button that we get at the end. That we see everything going back to the beginning. Their memories are wiped as if they had never experienced anything that they saw in the first season. And it includes all of the character growth that we've gotten from these characters. While they were all meant to torture each other, and in a lot of ways they have also all improved each other. Eleanor is definitely not the same person she was in the pilot episode. Ironically enough, right before watching these last 2 episodes, I was over at my sister's house. She had not watched any of the show, and I got her and her husband to watch the first episode. They enjoyed it. They may continue watching. I hope they do. But I was, surprised because it had been a while since I've seen the pilot episode, just how much Eleanor has changed. And I like character growth in shows. That was one thing I mentioned in my review of the early episodes, was that I was afraid that they were going to keep her one note, that they were not going to allow her that character growth. Instead, that's been one of the show's strengths, in addition to its off-kilter humor. Now, having a literal reset button is not the same thing as just keeping her one note, but I'm worried that I'm not going to enjoy this as much because we're resetting everything. In addition to Eleanor, Chidi's not the same person he was before. He's been able to relax a little bit. Tahani actually became friends with her. And Jason, well, he found love. Now, it's apparent that Janet got reset as well, but one of the things she talks about is how every time she gets reset, her programming grows. So in this iteration, she was able to love, so maybe she'll become even more human-like in her new version. So while I love the reveal, and I think it does open up a lot of possibilities for future storylines, I am concerned about the reset. How are they going to handle it? Are we just going to get rehash of everything that we saw before? For now, the primary difference is going to be that they're no longer soulmates. But Eleanor did get the note saying, find Chidi. I know she was scrapped for time, but she could have just written, like, this is the bad place. But that was one of my questions at the end. Either way, we're going to have to wait till next fall to find out what happens. But overall, this has become one of my favorite comedies on network TV. Really, one of the only comedies that I'm following regularly. But I do enjoy it a lot. I thought it was a great first season. I love all the characters, love all the actors. I like the quirkiness of it all. And I'm curious to see where they can go with it now that they can sort of play with the idea that this is actually the bad place and they don't have to keep that a secret, at least from the audience for now. So if you have seen this, and I really hope you have because I don't want to spoil this for anybody, what did you think about the finale? What did you think about the reveal? What did you think about the reset? And what do you expect for next season? As always, you can subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other reviews, and until next time, if you find yourself in the good place, check the fine print.